up, YouTube? Welcome back to Godzilla TV with your host Nick on another episode. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Now, today we're going to continue about USAIN Bolt and the SSL account and how the money was moved. Going to give you some conclusions as we go because I cannot read all of this, but I'm also going to read sections of it so you can, see yourself. I'm going to read it as well. Now, USAIN Bolt account, the registration of the account, it was registered to SSL by a company that Bolt owns. So Bolt have a company called USAIN Limited, and them opened an account in SSL under that business name, and the business was, it was a St. Lucian company, St. Lucian business. That's where the address is. The document to register USAIN Limited as a client of SSL bears the names and signatures of two individuals with close ties. So people who in a inner circle have signatures on both account. That registration document was witnessed, reviewed, and approved by officials at SSL on April 25, 2012. So, one of the person who was our signatory was Gina Pantan. The same Gina Pantan who in the beginning, had made her statement about other persons who were fleeced on their account but did not name USAIN Bolt. Probably she was, because she close to him, she never mentioned his name. And at the beginning, so she probably could have bought some time to probably move up or whatever. So, one of the things which also important to note is that USAIN Bolt never invest 12.7 million US. We go over on Yard Hype. You can see that they said that USAIN Bolt invested somewhere between 6 million. So the Welgen account had $6 million in it in the beginning, but the money was moved over time, so I had never one big move. But it's still puzzling me if you know, say, between 2012 to 2018, and 6 years, and 90% of the money was taken out bit by bit without no farmer notice. I kind of not understand that. And then in 2019 to 2022, 900,000 were put in the account and then take out back, and nobody no notice. I don't know what kind of accountant Bolt have or whatever. It don't make no sense to me. But yeah, that's the amount of money Bolt had in his account. And the money which was in Bolt's account at SSL was used to buy mostly blue chip stocks like Google, Apple, Amazon. Them thing there. We can talk about probably Netflix. Them type of one. Then one they were available on the blue chip market. So him use the money to buy that. But what really happened now is that the money was moved by selling the stocks and then transferring the money from Bolt account to the second person, not Gina's account, but the second person who did sign on Bolt business for SSL. The money was sent to that person's account, and that person would in turn use the money. Well, the last $50,000 what them did send cross, which Yard Hype I tell you about. Then they transfer 50,000 US. The money that they did use to do investment under the other person's account at SSL. So what really happened now is that whenever they need to get the money from both account, what they would do is to probably send an email from an email address to Gene and Pantan's work email, and then probably copy it onto another email address. But the funny thing is, all three email addresses belong to Gina and Pantan. So this is how they did it. They created two other accounts, email address accounts that is, probably with different names bearing somebody close to Bolt, send the email from those two created emails to the work email. So it would be like sending a request to her work email address or to Gmail, to Gina and Pantan, requesting someone to be moved on behalf of USAIN Bolt. But it's Gmail, Gina and Pantan doing all of that. So that is how they got it done. Some things in this, me kind of try to say, I can't get how this was really done, and like no fraud discovery no go on. But it's safe to say that it is a Jamaican based company after all, because there's a loophole in everything in Jamaica. Everywhere you go, every law, there's a loophole. At least that's how it seems. Because if you look around, you can see currently in many criminal cases in the justice system, when someone gets convicted, then just based upon the next law and just get freed or get less time. Now, how was this done? So you see, we did talk in our previous video before that in order for money move, you need the people to sign off on it before you move. Because in the banking system, if you come and tell or sign a form, say you want this money to be transferred or whatever, it have to go through more than one person. No one person can author, like you come to me and then me just transfer money to you. That type of personal people. But when they come to bank, department head have to involve. Whoever is in charge of that department have to involve. And then would have to go over the statements of each transfer and make sure say the authorization them legit and stuff like that. So that me say me really understand. Because even in the last part of this news, I say there were some equity transfers. Fine. Some farms, some request forms that were used, that is. Them have equity transfer request forms. And in order for the money to move, there should be a signature from the supervisor, the service supervisor, or the head of sales. Them supposed to sign on it to authenticate the transaction. As we've been telling you in the previous video, there's no way money can be moved without being authenticated. Especially on account when it comes to investments and them huge sum of money there. And Bolt never invest it as no like a single person like me. Him invest it on behalf of a company. So for a company, the transactions or the procedure will be, it would have more restrictions to it than if it was just a regular one individual account. I have a Scotia account, and if I want to transfer money to anybody, I just add the person I want to transfer money to, and then I transfer that money. But you want to know how a business account set up, especially if it's a checking account, you have to have what the thing with them call the token to authenticate, and that token will prove that you are the person in charge of that transaction, because you are the only person who should have that token in your possession. You understand? And then we could talk about since we're talking about checking account and Scotia Bank. If it is that Scotia gets a check, especially if the bank account is set up in a way that two persons should authorize the check, if the check reaches Scotia Bank and it's only one name on it where there should be two names on it, Scotia Bank cannot clear that check. Or even if you go to the bank with 2 signatures on it, who would give the authorization? Scotiabank will at times call the person who issued the check to verify, are you the person who issued a check with this check number? And then you would say yes. They say, all right, since it's you, tell us the name of the person. They're verifying because what? They don't want it to be a case of you losing money where you don't know about it. They want to make sure you say where the person write it. So the fraud email, I don't understand how that pass through a company like SSL, even though I don't know how high them integrity be. But for a company that posts that huge, because it's a huge load of stocks and investments and all of these things, what them do, I don't think it should be so easy to breach for them system. But then again, Jamaica this. That make no sense to me. Me to send a regular email. So that means that even me, if I had a company email, me could have just send one email from a regular email to it and just take it out of somebody's account. So doesn't make any sense. But then again, Gina and Pantan name was on the account as one of the persons who opened the account. So it probably would bring less traction because they would say, all right, Gina and Pantan is so much affiliated with that account. She was one of the persons who, one of the person who signed on it, so probably not prior that much. So at the end of the day, the form which you submit or the form that was in the email to be signed by the supervisor head was not signed. Talking about integrity. But those are my thoughts. If you think differently, or if you even think me not really explain as much or you know more than what me know, you can drop your thoughts in the comment section. This is Nick from Got to the TV. Peace out.